Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a new video. I'm Alex from WWA Trading, and today, in this video, I'm going to be covering my first 1 to 200 trade of the year, Euro-dollar shorts. In this video, not only I want to cover my sell position, but I want to cover my thought process coming into this supply level that we were selling from, as I was previously buying and then ended up taking this sell as a hedge. The hedge ended up playing as a massive trade, 1 to 200 and around 520 pips to the downside, currently floating. So really good trade to end up the quarter. As you guys probably know, euro dollar is being kind of more intraday plays coming into the first quarter, and at the end of it ended up giving this massive trend to the downside and allowing us to capitalize on this. So now, without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so now let's get into the charts. Perfect. So from a weekly time frame or a weekly perspective, I want to walk you a little bit through what was our thought process coming first of all into this demand level right down in here. Let me mark it so you guys can follow me more or less. So first of all, equal lows in here, liquidity was formed, FU candle or liquidity was taken out to the downside, moved to the upside, full retracement in here, then we come into a demand level, we see price reacting from this level. We're gonna dig now into a smaller time frame, we'll go into the daily, now as we are right now in the weekly. And what was our thought process in here as Wally took a buy? Let me show you a little bit more zoomed. But Wally took a buy from here to all the way up here into this supply level. Okay, he was holding that position. The reason why is because first of all, we knew we're in a bullish market. This supply level could act as a target in the future. Let me just put it in red. So we were just more or less focusing our bigger picture scenario with this supply and demand level in here. So now, before we go into my sell position that I want to cover today, that is my 1 to 200, let's go a little bit through all this push into the upside and what was our opportunities to buy. So now on a daily time frame, okay, I'm not going to get too much into detail in terms of going into M5, H1 or M15, just because all this was breaking down already. So all these you guys can find it in our Instagram. For the people that have been following us for a while, they know we've been buying through this, I think type 4 accumulation schematic that Wally took from here to the upside. After that, we're taking a sell from here. Wakar took a sell from here, 1 to 95, and then I personally took the hedge from here to the upside, being a 1 to 100 trade. Then indecision for us. Okay, why? Okay, we knew this was some sort of distribution, but we also knew that this could actually fail. The reason why is because always look at the left. What do you have at the left? It's a significant supply, it is a significant demand that we can be playing off. So in case of this sell that Wakar took from an intraday perspective, basing it on a H1, H4, M15 time frame, this sell made sense on our trading plan. But from a higher time frame perspective, we knew we were bullish. So this could just be some sort of retracement to then come and create new pushes to the upside. Okay, so then when I took this buy, I actually took this buy just into these supply levels in here. So from here to up in here. Okay, then I closed my positions. I was already sitting in a 1 to 100 trade and my criteria was met. Now, after that, something really important when it comes to market structure. Okay, we knew we also had some room to go to the upside as the level of supply that I marked previously. So now, what was my thought process? This leg in here that I'm going to be marking, this is a leg that I personally couldn't capitalize off. Okay, the reason why is because out of the way we trade, out of my trading plan, it was something indecisive. So the market was not showing us any sort of bullishness or bearishness, was more sideways. So when this happens, and this is maybe a tip for the people that like to trade also a lot in market structure, when you don't see the market trending or you don't see any sort of position showing, just let the market do its thing, because the market will show you then the direction. and that way you can also avoid losses before taking your win. So now that leg, as I mentioned already, I was not able to capitalize. Now let's go into the replay mode. Okay, so just to summarize really quickly, we were able to capitalize from this move to the upside. Sorry for the drawing like that. I'm gonna mark that in blue. Okay, we were able to capitalize also from this selling here to here. We are also able to capitalize from this buy position to here. Okay, 1 to 200 plus this buy, 1 to 95 the sell, 1 to 100 on the buy. All this I will leave a link on the description so you guys can read the case studies. And then this red we were not able to capitalize off. But after that, what do I see? Let me remove everything. So what do I see? Let me go into H4. And when I get into H4, my indecisive market starts to show me what? Some sort of equal lows. Okay, we also have some sort of demand level right in here. Okay, so I see equal lows, demand level still working in here as a support, and after that we take out liquidity and we run to the upside. After this run to the upside, we break market structure in here. Okay, so now we know we are bullish. So once I saw this new push to the upside, I know we were sitting on a bullish market again. Remember, my higher time frame was really clear. I knew I was in an uptrend, and then my more intraday analysis based on H1, H4 were aligning into my higher time frame perspective. So after that, actually, I gave this trade as a buying opportunity for the community, as I was running a community call, and this ended up playing nicely to the upside. We are not in favor of giving signals, even though a lot of times we just chat with the students, give what we are thinking or what we are looking into the markets, but we are more so of creating independent traders, creating independent thinkers, and after that, once they know how to properly analyze the markets, then we can share some thoughts or ideas with them, and that's the best way we think is for someone's journey to evolve and grow. So after that, as you guys can see, this played really nicely. I know a lot of people in the community were able to capitalize from, but just to avoid all this replay. Okay, let's go into here. So now, from this buying position in here, we see the market trended all the way to the upside. Let me go again into H4 and daily. Okay, so we were buying from down here and then all the way to the upside. Perfect. So now, once we had all this buying position in here, we come into the supply level that we were speaking at the beginning of the video. Perfect. So now once we come into the supply level, this is when I'm going to start getting into my actual trade, my actual thought process of my idea and what I was actually doing, because first of all, I was actually buying from this level in here. I will show you guys in a bit. And then I actually took a hedge from this level in here, and the sell ended up playing. This is current price action. So this is a 1 to 200 plus trade floating currently. So what was my thought process? What was my thinking into it? I see this FU candle played in here. I see a new rally to the upside. And now we are tapping into this supply level up here. So what I personally saw is, from a weekly perspective, we were bullish. Okay, so now from a daily perspective, what can I see? From a daily perspective, I can see the market trending to the upside. Put just this. Okay, so I see new push, retracement, new push, retracement, new push, retracement, new push, then new low. So we had a break of a structure. Let me put this in red. Okay, now we have a new break of a structure in here. All this level in here broke to the downside, then a small retracement, shy retracement, new push, retracement, new push. Perfect. So after that, I'm thinking, right now we are in a confusing market on a higher time frame. Why? Because weekly is bullish, daily is bearish, but we just tapped into a supply level. But at the same time on the daily, we are just tapping on a demand level. So this is when intraday analysis can play a big role in it, and understanding this correlation of time frames, not only on a higher time frame that I'm covering right now, but also in a smaller time frame that I will be covering right now in a bit, can help us understand what sort of opportunities we can have. We're coming into this demand level in here, and what do I see? I see after this push, I get a new retracement, and then this supposed retracement of the daily fails to create a new lower low, comes and creates a new higher high. So daily turns into a bullish market. Push, let me put this in black again. Retracement and new push. Okay, so we can see this transition again, that daily now is aligning with my weekly time frame. But we have to understand something, and this is the reason why I was looking for a buy in here that I'm going to be covering in a bit. I also have to understand, after the overall weekly push, so from here to here, okay, this retracement of the weekly was still shy. So this is when my thought process starts to come into play and think, okay, yes, I'm going to be looking for a buy because it's a pro-trend scenario on a higher time frame, but at the same time, if for any reason, okay, always think the contrary way. So if for any reason the market would like to go into a deeper retracement into these levels in here, okay, as this is my main push to the upside, okay, so if the market wants to come to these deeper levels, what will be the level inside the leg that can act as a supply, that can lead price action into lower levels? So now, this was the level that I was thinking of, okay? A supply level that we teach inside our bootcamp and for the community. Okay, so now, I have my market trapped into it. I have objective supply, objective demand, and now let's get into a smaller time frame. First of all, I'm going to go into H1, H4, and start developing my idea now that we already have my higher time frame perspective in play. Okay, so now let's get into replay mode. So let's get first of all into H4 time frame. Okay, so now that I get into my H4 time frame, what do I personally see? I see this pushing here, I see this retracement, I see this new push, okay, and then I see retracement that fails to come and create a new lower low, and then this comes and creates new higher highs. Perfect. So now my thought process on a 4-hour time frame is also bullish, so I'm going to be looking for buys. So now let's get into H1. When I get into the H1 time frame, okay, I have to understand my supply and demand levels. So now let's play a little bit the barring here. Okay, and what do I see? I see a new higher high that was created. Okay, a new higher high was created in here. So now I mark another time my demand level in here, and then my supply level in here. And now I mark my demand level in here. So after that, we dig a little bit more into a smaller time frame, because it's going to happen. H4 and H1 were sharing the same structural points. It's something that can happen here and there. So after I do my analysis, okay, I know I have my demand in here. I know I have a supply level in here too. Okay, that FU, that level. So now, my thought process again is, I see this sort of liquidity building up, and we ended up taking a sell to buy based on an intraday perspective. So we ended up taking this sell to the downside, from here to the downside. This ended up being a 1 to 11. So I'm not going to be digging too much into this intraday plays. I'm going to be digging more into the swing position that I get, but so you guys more or less can follow price action. This was a 1 to 11 trade going to the downside. explained for the community on Discord, and then after that taps into demand level. And now what's my pro trend scenario? My pro trend scenario is from this demand level come and create new higher highs. So after the 1 to 11 intraday play close to the downside, now we're looking into this buying perspective. So now we have this trade in play, and now let me recap. Let me just erase this as it was just intraday trade. And now remember the level that I marked as supply on a higher time frame perspective. Okay, this level in here on a daily time frame was a relevant level, but now I'm buying in here. Okay, so now pro trend based on daily, based on weekly, based on H4, based on H1, yes, I see a pro trend scenario. But now, how do I know this is gonna come and create new higher highs on a higher time frame perspective? I'm never gonna know it for a fact. So the important thing, as I mentioned already, is find objective levels of supply and demand that you know the market can react from, and then just hedge your positions so you can be more safe into it. Because now, after this new push is created, okay, so I'm sitting in the buy from this week in here to the upside, okay, and now once it taps in here, once it comes into this supply level, so heading into the supply level that we were mentioning already before, okay, we have to understand something regarding market structure, which right now we see that this higher low has created a new higher high. We have a retracement, and then we have a new higher high. So now, always remember that the markets are fractal. So if in H1 and M15 we are seeing bullish market structure, for me to have at least a retracement leg until these levels in here, I have to have some sort of M5, M3, M1 distribution or market breaking structure showing me bearish intent in this area. Also, why this area? Because it's a supply level. Always remember to look at objective levels in the left. Okay, so looking at a supply area plus watching a distribution or break of a structure, whatever, in this case it will be a distribution, is what allowed me to hedge my position, knowing that I was in the buy and now trying to hedge in here. So now let's go into a lower time frame. M5, M3, okay? I already marked out the distribution. It's a schematic one of Wyckoff. So we'll leave a picture in the left, and you guys will see that yes, it's really similar to it, but still there's a small difference as we have two UTs in here. That's fine. Not every distribution nor every accumulation is going to look exactly textbook. We have to adapt to it. In this case, the UT, it was totally fine that there's two. We'll have times that will be even three, and that's perfect if it's building liquidity. So as much as we're building liquidity below a point of interest, it's always valid. So from here, we just have, let me play a little bit more. Perfect. Now have buying climax, automatic rally, UT, sign of weakness, allowing myself that even though we have still liquidity in here, I'm starting to show, market is starting to show some supply entering in it. And then after that, what do I get? I get a new push to the upside after the sign of weakness, tapping into the supply that we already explained. And then after tapping in there, perfect. I get my UTAD, which is the run of liquidity of this area in here, tapping into my point of interest, new push to the downside, first test in here. After the first test, I see another leg to the downside, showing me bearishness, showing me intent. So after this intent, something also important, look at this sort of price action. Let me put a box in here. Let's look at this price action and remember how fractal the market is. Yes, this is the M3 time frame, but what is this sort of accumulation? What's the purpose of that accumulation? The purpose of this accumulation is not to come and create new higher highs. Is after this new leg is created, is building orders that will allow the retracement to a supply area again, to then show again from that supply area more intent to go to the downside and complete our distribution phase. So now let's play. Perfect. Now after that, new market structure is break. We have a BOS in here, so showing me that the distribution coming from a supply area was successfully done. And after that, same thing. What we will see is, remember, I was in the buy from here, now I'm in the sell from here. Okay, my stop loss was 2.5 pips. Okay, I cannot show the entry just because it's our WWA protocols and lower time frame refinements. It wouldn't be fair for the people that are taking our bootcamps and at the same time are inside of our community. But just so you guys know, more or less in Euro USD, we average between 2.5 to 5 pips stop loss. That's more or less my average. In this case was a 2.5 pips stop loss. So now my thought process behind it is, let me take this up for a bit. Okay, I'm currently sitting in a 1 to 20, that's fine. I'm not looking for taking partials because I'm also in the buy in here, sitting on a maybe 1 to 15 more or less. I don't remember exactly, but we'll post everything so you guys can see the details of this buy, then hedging the sell from this area in here. And then it becomes the game of supply and demand and understanding a higher time frame perspective. So remember what we were mentioning a couple minutes ago. It was from a higher time frame perspective, from a weekly. Okay, we knew this was our push, right? You guys remember, from this low in here to this high in here. After that, we had daily making a retracement into some sort of demand levels, and after that we were showing bullish intent to go to the upside. So the reason why we were hedging in here, just to repeat myself, is because even though I'm in the buy and the buys are pro trend, okay, I'm expecting these buys to maybe come and create a new higher high. I have to find some sort of supply levels that I know I can hedge my position. Why? Because even though I can expect the market to create new higher highs, potentially, I don't know if that will happen. So the best thing is to cover myself, because also due to this price action, I also knew that we could have potential to come and make a deeper retracement compared to my bullish leg to the upside. Okay, so now let's play price action a bit more. Okay, we played, boom, perfect. We break this structure in here, really relevant structure. After breaking this structure, remember what I mentioned before with the retracement in here. After I break a structure, I can expect a pullback at these levels in here. And also because we are coming at a demand level right in here. Okay, more or less. So here I closed, you guys can see, I closed majority of my volume. Okay, as I was already approaching my 1 to 100. Why did I close 50% of my volume at this level? Because just watching how price action is developing, I see there's potentially a level that we could come and make a pullback. So if I'm sitting in a 1 to 100 trade, what I don't want to have is a deeper pullback to the upside that after 100% return of my account, that can lead to a break even. So because of that, I closed 50% of my position, 50% trade at the moment, and then I leave that runner of 50% volume because I know that we can come at lower levels. So after that, let me play more. Market comes, melts, okay, then perfect. After coming and creating this sort of a scenario, I'm sitting at a 1 to 57 with my 50% volume, and then I come to some sort of demand area in here. Why is this demand area? Just check. We have equal lows, we have an FU candle, and this demand area could be relevant in here. And also, what do I see? Okay, I was monitoring price action because instead of closing my position in a 1 to 57, it's worth just monitoring price action to see if I have any sort of bullishness coming in the market and see if I can hedge my position to come to the upside. Okay, so after that, I have my push from here to here, new leg, new structural leg. Let me mark it up for you guys, from here to here. Okay, here I have some sort of break of a structure, so now I have a new demand level sitting in here. Okay, I'm literally basing it off of H4. So I had a hedge position in here. I'm gonna show you guys really quickly, not into too many detail, I'm just into M15, so you guys can see what I was doing, what was my thought process behind this. after breaking this structural point and then market was showing me some sort of bullishness, I was expecting the price to come to these supply levels up here. So let me also play the price action. Also in here, some intraday positions that I personally traded in New York based on intraday, just based on M1 and M5 market structure and below, and the 15-second ended up being a really nice ping pong area in here to be trading sell buy, sell buy. I will leave also the screenshots attached so you guys can see. We shared that with the community, and after that market broke into the downside. Okay, this was my ping pong trades in here. Wakar took this buying here to the upside, Wally took this sell from here to the downside, and from here market came into this demand level that I marked in H4. And what do we see? After a new lower low is created, market starts to build liquidity in there. Okay, and from here what do I see? Push, retracement, push, take out this liquidity, and I had a buying position. Let me zoom in a little bit. I had a buying position from this level in here, right where market is right now. Let me show you guys. Okay, from here the market rocketed to the upside. My position is literally from this week in here to the upside, 1 to 24 risk reward. Really good risk reward. The reason why I didn't took any partials is, again, I have to adapt myself to what are my current positions right now. So if I didn't have any sort of sells like this one that I just broke down, this might be something to break even in this supply area. The point here that I was making is, because I was in this sell and then I was hedging these buys, I'm still trapping the market all the way up and down. So I'm just leaving one to come to relevant areas to maybe take another sell. And maybe in this relevant area in here, which I really like as supply, then partial out myself, as that would be a 1 to 50, I think, if it was coming into here. In this case, this 1 to 24 risk reward trade ended up being break even, okay, and went to the downside. So let me show you guys in H1 so it goes a little bit faster. So let me show you guys in a H4 time frame that it will go a little bit faster, the price action. So just to conclude, you guys have seen multiple entries. This is something that I broke down in this last March bootcamp for the new students of WWA. Was breaking down the price action like I did with you guys, more or less, but of course with more detail and applying all our WWA model in terms of how to swing, where exactly to hedge, and what's relevant a certain area. So I was covering all the price action through all these places in here until all this here, covering the swing positions and also the intraday positions that the market allowed us to take, as I was mentioning in here with my ping pong entries, with Wakar's buy to the upside, with Wally's sell to the downside, with my other buy 1 to 24 to the upside, that of course I've just mentioned ended up break even, but ended up giving myself this 1 to 10 maxed out, 1 to 9 right now risk reward with my 50% volume, and that's current price action, and that's still running in there. So ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today. Hopefully you guys took some value from this breakdown, not only the 1 to 200 trade risk reward, but my thought process coming into the whole quarter in euro dollar. As you guys see, there's much more into it. There's much more into the WWA model, not only the swing position that we took, but also the amount of trades where we were capitalizing here and there when the market was also ranging and not giving us that nice trend that ended up giving at the end of the quarter. For anyone that took value out of this call, I will highly recommend to go and follow our journey, go and follow our Instagram, go and follow our Telegram chats, and you guys will see that we post on a daily basis. We post a lot of case studies that you guys can go back and study. And for anyone that wants more information about our community, about our bootcamps, We're gonna leave a link on the description so you guys can go and book a 15-minute call with our Success Student Manager to see if you're eligible for our bootcamps, to our community. So feel free to do that too, and see you another day.